was feeling stuck. I had been in a 10-year hiatus after a divorce, and it was still causing me a lot of grief. And so I recognized that there were things in my life that were sort of stemming from that incident, and I sort of wanted to break the pattern of old behaviors, but I wasn't really sure how to do that.
I made a mistake in a corner and I crashed into the side of a mountain, destroyed my motorcycle, broke 2 ribs, hours away from help. Later in the year, when I tried to get back on again, I had so much dread. I was so scared of hurting myself again, of crashing again, that I was incapable of turning, which is a big thing. In any vehicle, you need to be able to turn, and I couldn't.
I didn't believe in myself. I didn't trust myself. I didn't love myself.
I would be hit by waves of emotion, but it seemed like this wave of emotion was connected to something that happened 10, 15 years ago, and I couldn't put the pieces together.
When that parent hits you as a young child, you may think unconsciously, oh my God, I must be worthless, or I must be bad because my parent is hitting me, my parent is abusing me. That's what you would think on an unconscious level. And as an adult, any adult would know that a child doesn't deserve to be abused, so they're not intrinsically bad. There's nothing wrong with them. And so you may know that on a conscious level, but that actual knowledge hasn't been integrated into your subconscious. So through EMDR, that information, that adaptive information that I am worthwhile, I am a good person, I deserve to be safe, I am safe, these kinds of beliefs get integrated into the trauma memory.
It was an angry house. So being angry and expressing emotions didn't always have a great outcome. So I learned to be a people pleaser, to smooth over any rough edges, and to sort of keep the boat on an even keel. And so that sort of happened with all my relationships, but really to the detriment of myself. I was ignoring my own needs for safety, for security.
My partner was getting so frustrated to hear why it wasn't that big an accident, you weren't that badly hurt, like everything is okay, why can't you get over this, why can't you get past this? And I kept saying, I don't know why. I'm not trying not to get past this. This isn't how I want to be. I don't want to be anxious. I don't want to be filled with dread. This isn't me consciously making it. I'm stuck. I'm just stuck. And I don't know how to unstick.
They don't want to keep reacting the way that they're reacting, like having that anxiety or having that these feelings, these triggers come up for them. But they feel powerless to change it, because they are powerless to change it, because it really is a stuck neural network. And EMDR actually helps to free that network up and change things, reprocessing the memory. And that's why it works so well.
I'm young, I have to do it right now because I see my mom and I see my patterns that I have, and I don't want to be like them.
EMDR therapy is a revolutionary therapy for trauma and PTSD, but it also has a lot of other applications, treating anything from abuse to addictions to depression and anxiety, the loss of a loved one, the loss of a relationship.
I needed a solution for something that kept happening, and I needed something that would work and something that I could use on my own. So the tools, the tapping, the eye movements, at first it feels a little funny because you don't exactly know how it works. And when you're concentrating on something so small as tapping or eye movements or listening to a sound, it's a process that takes you away from the trauma that you're talking about. So suddenly you're able to talk about something, but your brain is really focused on something else. It's like talking about something traumatic and juggling. Your brain sort of refocuses that traumatic event with the action that you're doing. So in a way you can just like talk your way through the storm, and it seems achievable.
And so while doing the bilateral stimulation, it kind of puts the memory into this buffer zone region where you can actually rewrite the memory. So it's not like you're rewriting what actually happened, but you're rewriting the information that was stored with the memory. So when you have a memory of a traumatic experience, oftentimes it's not processed fully or adaptively. So it gets stored with information that is, for example, a lot of fear or heightened emotions. So when anything reminds you of a situation like that, those fears, those heightened emotions get triggered, and then you're unable to react logically or the way that you normally would, because you're just bogged down by your emotions.
Like, how are you transformed?
So
I think that's an awesome
I
word.
could not talk about my mother for 26 years without bursting into tears. Could not have a conversation, could not look at pictures, could not be around people that couldn't tell stories for 26 years. And going through EMDR, I actually corrected people, and I could tell stories, and I can talk to my kids about my mother, which I couldn't. It's taken away the negative connotations and just left the good. So what I was carrying around with my mother was her death, not her life, right? And so what I have now is the memory of my mother, not the memory of her death. And that is so extraordinary. Like that, as much as I love my motorcycle, like that's it. I wasn't looking for that. That was just an extraordinary gift.
In one session, everything lined up. And then suddenly I could see the patterns in my life crystal clear, and it was so profound, enlightening. It was relieving. That's the word. It was relieving to see patterns for what they were, and to be able to trace them back to their source, and then say, oh, okay, well, that's where it started from. Okay, now I can fix it.
What I love doing is getting people from just surviving to living, to really living their lives, and to be able to make their decisions from a place of actually discovering what they really want, and being able to pursue that, being able to self-advocate, and also love themselves and appreciate themselves, right? Those are all really important goals with the therapy.
I feel I'm strong. I feel I believe in myself. I feel like I do what I want to do. My mom is so happy for myself. She listens to me. She's like, that was the best gift I could ever ask for, right? Because she said, I just wanted you to cut that pattern. Going from a person EMDR therapy to online therapy, I felt had any changes. The fact of me being in my own comfort zone, it was even better. I was literally on my couch, no noise, I didn't have to go anywhere.
So online therapy, and I don't know if this is the experience for lots of people, but I was a bit reticent at the beginning because of the self-consciousness of looking at myself on screen, and then also having someone look at me. So I was hyper aware of my responses because I could see my face in the screen. But closing my eyes and then going through the whole therapy session, it felt like a regular session in the office. So I was surprised that it felt very natural, and I was happy about that.
There's no homework involved. There's nothing that you need to do between sessions for it to work or for it to be effective. There's no onus on you. You just show up to the session and you do the session, and it works. And the changes that it creates stay with you even when you leave. They're permanent.
And then you can say, oh, well, this is a really good decision. I'm making this based on what's good for me, rather than what might have been good for me as a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old.
The sense of accomplishment that came out of every single session was completely different than anything that I got out of a talk therapy or talking to any other kind of therapist.
I would recommend EMDR wholeheartedly, and if I was going to tell someone about it, I would say that it's solution-based. I think that's the biggest difference from regular therapy. I think when people go to therapy, they think they're going to go talk to someone for an endless amount of time without any sort of closure date or without any sort of solution. It's something that's ongoing, which is wonderful, which is great if that's what people need. But if someone is looking to find a solution to a problem, or find a solution to an issue, or why does this keep happening, or they want some tools, practical tools to deal with it on their own, then I think EMDR is really good.
I equate EMDR to sort of performing neural surgery, but on sort of people's, like on a soul level almost.
I've seen the change in myself. My family has seen the change in me. I react to things differently. I literally think about things differently.
It's like witnessing a miracle. And in fact, there have been quite a few times where, I've said, this is a miracle. And the client is like, this is a miracle.